Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's KB5 MIQ Big Boy. We're going to talk a little bit this evening uh, about new hams and my favorite band, 10 Meters. I saw a post today that really got me concerned. I'm not going to put the guy's name out. I've seen it on ham radio pages. I have come to the conclusion I will never understand this enough or much less afford the equipment. Man, we don't need anybody to give up on this hobby. Um, you can get into this hobby as easy, as light as you want to, or as heavy as you want to. It all depends on your what you have available, your budget, and that's going to be a big part of it. But it doesn't have to be that expensive. Now, one thing, let me grab something right quick. Move, ham radio cat. Got too many cats in here. All right. A lot of guys are happy with $25 handheld tech ticket and being on local repeaters, and that's great. That's as far in the hobby as you want to get. That's great. Um, I wish they had done one thing when they changed the licensing. I wish they had left the novice license on there. Even though I've said in previous videos, reasons I have trouble with CW, even as deaf as I am, I learn 5 words a minute, and I don't think of having a requirement of 5 words a minute is too bad for a license. Plus, that give you the only way to get on voice, you had to get on 10 meters. Now, and then the tech ticket was the next ticket up, which give you another set of privileges. A lot of people may disagree with me on that, and that's fine. That's just my opinion. But we're in a little different time in ham radio than it was when I got into it. When I got into this hobby, I got in about halfway through the big sunspot cycle, and 10 meters was really, really rolling every day up into the night. In fact, most of these contact cars, QSL cars, I got during that time. A lot of fun on it. And I've covered some stuff in other videos about 10 meters and how to get on it, but I'm going to kind of talk about that again today because I don't like to see people giving up on this. Again, these things, people cuss them. If you want to, 3 subjects, if you want to start an argument in ham radio, bail, foam, grounding, and do verticals need radials, guaranteed to start an argument, but that'll get you on there. Hey, ham radio cat. 10 meters. Economically getting on HF. I'm going to put some things on the end of this video. I'm going to put a screenshotted Main Trading Company's website. He gives 30-day in-store warranty on a lot of his used equipment, and he says he's got a ton of used equipment he's fixing to be putting on the website starting after first year. Great place to do business with. Check there. I've got 2 ham clubs, Cowtown and one in Irving, I believe, or Farmersville, that are having a swap meet. I've got both of their advertisements screenshotted. We'll put them on there. One of them's coming up in January. I can't make that one, but I'm going to try to make the one in March. Go look for used gear. This 701 I bought, I give $150 for it. I've talked in the past, you know, people may be leery about buying used gear at a swap meet. This is just my rule of thumb on used gear. If the guy's got it displayed, set up nice, his table's neat, the gear's dusted and clean, and he answers questions about it, I'm not worried about buying that. I bought this 701, the guy had it set up neat, told me he had everything he could tell me about it, offered to hook it up even, so I could see it worked. I didn't feel bad about that. If you come up on a guy that's got just stack upon stack of every electronic gadget known to man, and they're just piled up there on his truck and on the ground, and some of them are dusty and dirty looking, that's a guy that's probably going to junk stores buying everything up just trying to turn it for a quick buck. You might be careful there. I know Richard at MTC, he'll tell you on his website if the radio's got a warranty on it, and and most of his used gear's got a 30-day in-store warranty on it. Worth checking out. Antennas, 10 meters. That's one of the easiest bands to build a homemade antenna in. a dipole. Total overall length of an antenna dipole, and I've done this with a dipole calculator, but there's a formula you can use, for 28,400, right in the middle of the novice tech foam portion of 10 meters. Overall length is 16.48 feet. Each leg 8 feet 0.24 inches. Half wavelength off the ground would be 17 feet 3/16. So you've got an antenna there that you can build out of scrap. Look at some of my earlier videos. I built a little mini dipole, showed you scrap stuff you can build out of it. You ain't got nothing in the antenna. Elevate it. All it's got to be, according to this, is at least 20 foot off the ground. Put it in the attic. Hang it out of a tree. The only thing it's going to cost you there is going to be some coax to get to your rig. Look for a used rig. Now, ham radio manufacturers are in the business to make money. So they're changing their marketing up, I believe, as to what's hot at the time. Now, if you go back to 91 when I got my first ticket, 10 meter band was wide open all the time. It had been open for years. I think it was really open. Jeff has told me how many years it was open, one of the longest sunspot cycles I had. And 10 meter mobile rigs were pretty easy to find. Several people was marketing them. I know Radio Shack had an excellent little novice rig. Uniden had a couple out. Ranger had one out. Several different ones out there. Now, if you look at what's out there today, they're marketing them, I believe, more for the CB market. Because you'll see a lot of these, especially the more inexpensive ones, 10 and 12 meter ham radio mobile. But if you really look at it, it doesn't have sideband on it. You've got to have upper sideband because that's what's the only thing you're allowed to operate as a tech. And if it doesn't have upper sideband, most of us have AM and FM. And it's marketed as a 10, 12 meter ham radio. Guess what's in the middle between 10 and 12? 11, CB band. Those radios are probably very easy to modify. That's just a marketing ploy that they could sell it as a ham radio, but the CB market's going to be buying it up and converting it to CB. That's just my opinion. Look for some used gear. Get a full up HF rig. Don't let anybody tell you as a tech you shouldn't own a full up HF rig. You have a license. You've studied the laws. You know where you can operate at. My first rig was another 701 like this one here. Never got operated off 10 meter band. And the whole time I was a tech, novice tech. You can buy any rig you want. And it don't hurt to have something up full HF. You can monitor any frequency, even with a 10 meter dipole. Now, you get down in the lower frequencies, you may not hear them as well because the wavelength's much bigger. But you can still use it to monitor with. Way to learn there with it. This hobby, if you look at every aspect of this hobby, you don't have to do all of it. Don't ever think you have to spend that kind of money to get into this hobby. I don't do any digital right now. I'm not that interested in it. I don't knock people for doing it. FT8 seems real popular. I just haven't never tried it, not knocking it. Old boomer, I still like just talking on the radio. Don't let people deter you. Don't let the enormity of what all is available in ham radio deter you. There is easy ways to get into this, and this is a lifelong learning hobby. I learn stuff all the time. Just experiment with antennas. There's all kinds of stuff out there you can get. One of my earlier videos, I posted a copy of the ARRL Antenna Handbook. Making antennas is fun and economical, and it's a fun part of the hobby. Well, let's see what else I can talk about here. I appreciate everybody who subscribed. We've hit 519 on the subscription list. I got several pictures going to be tagged on here. The Main Trading Company website picture, those two Hamfest advertisements, and so on and so forth. One other thing, and I've said it before, and I'll probably keep saying it. If you buy a radio that you spend your money on, and somebody tells you it's a starter radio, don't pay no attention to that. Because nobody knows your budget. Personally, to get my first HF rig, I had small kids. I was the only one working. I couldn't afford to take the money out of the budget. I sold a gun. I sold one of my guns to finance my first radio. WD5HKV give me my first antenna other than a radio. In fact, the radio another ham found me had a power supply with it. That first 701, I got the complete station. I had to buy some coax. I had a push-up pole because push-up poles were plentiful back then because everybody had antennas. So I was able to get on there cheap. And I've always done my antennas cheap. So, and worked the world with them. But don't let anybody tell you got to start a radio. That aggravates me because you tell a new ham that you have no idea what his budget is, what all he went through to make his radio. Oh, that's a starter radio. You'll have to upgrade it later. Don't tell him that. Do not tell him that. I've heard the ICOM 718 called a starter radio so many times. And let me give you an example. WD5HKV is advanced class ham. It should take his extras. Could have took it years ago. Been a ham for well over 40 years. Antenna builder. He built Heath kits in his youth. He's restoring an old Hallicrafters receiver now. The term starter radio does not fit him anywhere, or anybody else for that matter. He runs a 718 ICOM. He's got an 891 now that he runs portable, but he loves a 718 ICOM. Don't use the term starter radio, especially with a new ham. That's the quickest way to get somebody scared out of this hobby. Please, my call sign is KB5MIQ. My email's on my QRZ page. Shoot me an email. Leave me a comment here. I'll try to help you any way I can. Remember, Main Trading Company, Paris, Texas. All of your club pages. I've got some those pictures from those two Hamfests coming up. We do our 10-meter round table Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday nights, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on 28,450 or thereabouts. If there's a net coming in there, we'll usually go up to 470. If you hear us, please check in. Back in the summer, we was getting 6-8 check-ins a night. Been kind of dead here lately, but if you hear us, please check in. I want to thank everybody who subscribed to the channel. It's KB5MIQ Big Boy 73. A quick add on here. Y'all probably figured out I've said it before. I don't use a script making these. I guess I need to. I had some requests for some better pictures of what Cody has 3D printed. I'm going to tag them in here also with a picture of his printer. W5DLX has got a 3D printer, and he's making some stuff, made some guards for 891s, making some knobs for Jeff's old Hallicrafters Restore. Real good stuff. Not going to tell you need to buy a 3D printer with your ham shack, but if you know somebody's got one and you're restoring something, good idea to be friends with them so they can get you fixed up. Cody's doing some real good work with that. We'll put that on here also. This KB5MIQ 73.